Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Isolated Thoughts. There's been a lot of talk in the media these last few days about essential services. What is an essential service and what is not? We have the warehouse declaring themselves an essential service. We have the gun lobby in the United States saying that the ability to buy a gun is an essential service. But my question for you and I is, what is essential to us, not just surviving but thriving during this period of distant socializing and self-isolation? And so I've come up with an acronym that I'd like to share with you, and that acronym is CLEAR. C for connection, L for laughter, E for exercise, A for activate, and R for reflect. So let's be clear. What is it I consider to be essential is connection. Connection first and foremost with God and with others. Jesus was asked, what's the most important commandment? And Jesus said to love God, and the second is like it, to love each other. And so I demonstrate my love for God by keeping up my spiritual practices of Bible reading and prayer. In Deuteronomy it says that that man does not live on bread alone, but on every word that proceeds from the mouth of God. And so I read his word. In fact, I found myself becoming more intentional about maintaining that habit, that practice of Bible reading and of prayer. Asking myself, what is God saying to me through this passage? And I demonstrate my love for others by being more intentional about connecting with them, picking up the phone and dialing friends and family and saying hi. And to that end, I've found the technology at this time of WhatsApp video calls and Zoom meetings to be incredibly beneficial to that, or for that. The L stands for laughter. Proverbs tells us that a merry heart or a cheerful heart is good like medicine. And so to that end, my wife and I, we've taken up the practice of watching a comedy at night and just laughing together and laughing at each other during it, and it's been good for us. The E stands for exercise. You don't get a body like this by exercising. And so what I've found is, as I've been working from home, is that I tend to confine myself to the chair more than I do at say working from the office, and some of the built-in routines that have changed mean that I'm not getting as much exercise as I once used to. And so I have to be intentional about exercise, about getting that fresh air, getting into the outdoors, and making sure I don't look like I've eaten all my quarantine snacks in one night. The A stands for activate. There's a gift, there's a purpose, there's a talent that God has given each one of us, and so during this period, don't just drift through, but develop that purpose, develop that skill or that talent, or even pick up a new hobby. I've had a hobby for years of playing the guitar. I'm still no good at it, but during this time it's something that I'm going to be intentional about and trying to develop that skill, and because as I get better, my enjoyment increases. The R stands for reflect. What a number of people have told me is that in this time working from home, the pace of life has slowed and they have greater opportunity to reflect. And so I encourage you, use that opportunity. Don't be tempted to stay busy and ignore what's going on in your private world, but take that time to reflect, because you may be surprised that what thoughts you've carried are actually being detrimental to your well-being. And I've found some of those in the last few days, and so I've been intentional about crossing those off. Let's stop thinking that stuff. Also to reflect on what God might be saying to you, and as you practice prayer and as you practice your Bible reading, So I encourage you, take that time to reflect, take that time for God to build you up in your most holy faith. So let's be clear. Let's stay connected with God and with each other. Let's laugh. Let's exercise. Let's activate the gifts and talents that He's put within you. And let's reflect. Let's cross out those thoughts that are detrimental to our well-being. Grace and peace.